Hello everyone, it is Lucy here and I'm back with another video. In today's video we are doing the polar bear habitat. So I know it's been a while since I've recorded anything due to our zoo, so I wanted to just take some time and do a little bit of research and just really think about how I wanted to lay out the polar bear habitat. I think in the end it came out really good. I wanted to make an underground viewing area and I wanted it to be kind of like a cave, and I was able to achieve that a little bit. So there is like a cave that the guests have to walk into, and then they go down and then they can see the polar bears swimming around. I know that the polar bears do dive and they kind of swim around like the penguins. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to see that in the screenshots at the end. They don't really do that, they just kind of swim on the surface. We only have one polar bear, it's a girl. I'm hoping to get more though. I think that they do cost conservation points, so I will have to stockpile the conservation points in order to get another one. But they are so beautiful, they are like majestic animals. I love them so much. I wouldn't want to like go up to one in real life, but in the game they're just so beautiful, and they really did a good job and a fantastic job. They always do on all of their animals, but really the polar bears are just so cute. I have seen some screenshots and some video recordings of little cubs, so I'm hopeful we'll get some of those in our zoo. I wanted to make this habitat a huge habitat. I really wanted to do that so that way there, if we got more polar bears, they wouldn't be hurting on space, they wouldn't be having like overcrowding fights. So I really wanted to make this a pretty good size habitat, and I was able to achieve that. But in order to do that, we had to really put in some more transformers, and we have like a few water treatment centers and a few water temperature regulators as well, because the water area is so huge that it needed to be like temperature regulated as well as treated, so that the way there the animals don't get sick. But in order to achieve that, I did have to put some various items around the habitat, which it's okay, but I just kind of wish that it would just only take one, but because the habitat was so huge, I had to put in a few just to cover the whole water area and the whole habitat. It does require a lot of coolers because I really wanted to have the, areas just all full of snow because they are Arctic animals. I did put in a few little greenery touches here and there, like some trees. I don't know if the animals really like those. I don't think that they do. I really think they just like wide open space and hardly any landscaping. So this was kind of a hard habitat for me because I really wanted to lush it out with a lot of greenery and make a lot of landscaping, but the polar bears just really don't like that. I didn't even check to see if they were okay or she was okay with all of the trees that I did put in. I didn't really do that, but it's okay. In the end, I think I'm just gonna let it go, and if she has a problem, if she starts attracting protesters, then I'll take some trees out. I didn't put too many, just like a few here and there, just to kind of sprinkle throughout her habitat, but she is just so gorgeous, and this is like my first time doing an underground underwater viewing, especially underground, but definitely an underwater viewing. I've tried in the past and I failed miserably. It never seems to work for me. The terrain was always messed up, but I really think I did a good job here, and I was just connecting the land together because I just figured if they're going to be down there watching the polar bears, I want them to be kind of like in a cave, and I don't want any open spaces around because I think that would kind of freak you out. Like if you went down into a cave and you saw like an open space but you couldn't get to it, I don't know, it would just kind of freak me out. I'm sure that there are caves like that, but I just didn't really want that to happen, so I ended up just closing it up here, and then I did put in some rocks, although it did take me a while to even put in those rocks, so I have to go back in and just do some more rocks. I made it like the snowy rocks, so that way there it kind of looks like you're in like an snow cave. So I don't know, it's just really cool, and I think it came out really good. Like I said, it's my first one, so I am just really proud of myself that I even took this on. And then I just wanted to put in some barriers around the area where they are viewing, just so that we can have these like big, huge windows so they can see the animals swimming. And at the end, you'll see how that, looked. But I think it came out really good, and you can see the animals just like paddling on the surface at the end, which is just so cute. Just one animal. I keep saying animals. I'm just really trying to wish that to come true so that we can get some more polar bears. So I just keep saying animals because one day we will have more than one polar bear, I think. So And then I was just trying to connect the ground to this barrier here, so that way there it just kind of looked like, it was part of the habitat as well. And then they do have a area where they can go up on the surface and they can look at the animals as well. I'm just hopeful that the guests will go down into the cave. I'm wondering if I think I have to put in some, I forgot about the TVs and I forgot about the little speakers to tell you education about the animals. So I think if maybe I put in those as well, and maybe if I put in like a vista point or like a selfie point, maybe the guests will go down there a little bit more, because I think that is a thing in the game that you can kind of put a little, it's like a little podium, and you can put that in and they can take their selfies. And I think they would like to do that probably down here underwater, because it seems like the polar bear really likes to swim. They were in there for a while, so I hope that they'll just be swimming around a lot more. I hope to see like the diving animation, because I think it was broken for a little while and they weren't really diving, so I hope that's not the case. I really hope that they dive. I did put in underwater feeders as well, so hopefully that will help them dive down and eat and all of that, so that way the guests can see that. And then I was just kind of decorating the barrier so it looks like it's like a snow area, and then I put in the mirrored glass as well, so that way the polar bears cannot see the guests, but the guests can see in. I always like to add that feature so that way it doesn't stress the animals out. I'm hopeful that this is quite a good habitat for them and that they're happy and that they love it, because I did spend some time on it. It took me a while to get all of this done, but I've seen a lot of other videos of creators and they do some really beautiful habitats for polar bears, but I only did like a little bit, because I was just afraid of our money going down like a lot further, because something about the polar bears is they require a lot of cooling things, and then they also require a lot of energy as well, and a lot of water, because they need to swim and they need to have that, and a lot of traversable area as well. They really need that. They need a lot of room. So I did kind of skimp on the decorations around the habitat for right now, and we can add those in later, but I did put in a lot of these snowy rocks because they look really cute and I really love them. And every time you place them down, it's the most satisfying sound. It's like snow crunching and it just sounds so good. So I kept putting them down for that reason as well. And also it just looks really cute because they are Arctic animals. So just having that huge snow traversable area as well as the snow rocks really tied everything in together for the habitat. But really just trying to decorate this area so it doesn't look like just glass, random glass in the area, so that they're not kind of confused as animals and being like, why is there a huge glass area over here? But this is by the water as well. So the other part of it is kind of up on the top, so you can either go down in the cave or you can come up and look at the animals in their habitat, but they have to look across the water. So I may add in some other areas where they can see the animals, because I really want them to be able to see the animals in every area of the habitat, but I just really don't know how to achieve that unless we put like an area at the top of their habitat, because I do have some like transformers just hanging out and they're not decorated, and the guests get kind of angry when you don't have those things decorated, because they say it doesn't look pretty and they're just really, it bothers them, the scenery bothers them. So I do have the transformers just hanging out on the side, not protected, not decorated, nothing is surrounding them, so they're just out in the open, and I think that would bother the guests a lot. But as you see here, it's very tedious work. You have to put in like every rock by itself, one by one, and so I was just trying to do that and get that done. So you see all of this on the camera, which I probably should have cut some of this out, but it looks really cool, and now you can see how you decorate things. And I just really went in one by one because I wanted every little area to be something different and look different. So and then just trying to cover the area over here as well. I really wanted to do more decorations in the water as well, because I think that we need to decorate their underwater area a little bit more, just with like some snow caps or something like that, just to make it look like, oh my gosh, this is so cold. This is like really cold water for them. I really wish that they had a I don't know, like a terrain paint for the water to just make like little ice caps on the water, because I did do the rough water. So looks a little bit more realistic if they're in rough water as opposed to just really, really calm and peaceful water. Because usually, like in the Arctic, it's pretty, it's like moving really fast because there are things melting and things, moving around in the Arctic. So, but then also this is where they can kind of come over and look at the animals up on top of the land. But it's pretty far away from where the animals are. So hopefully I can kind of figure something else out where we can have the guests like peeking in on them in another part of their habitat, just because I really want them to be able to see the animals. And no one has really gone over to this habitat yet, and I have put the polar bear in there, so hopefully they will pretty soon. It's pretty far away from everything. I really wanted to do that just so that way there I could make a huge habitat for them. And not be running into like property lines and things like that. So I just wanted to make it kind of out in the middle of the zoo. They are by the reindeers as well, and no one's really going in the reindeer habitat either, which really makes me sad. So hopefully the polar bears will bring more attention to the reindeer habitat as well. But like I said, maybe putting in some more like educational, boards or educational TVs for the guests to kind of look at and listen to as well might be really good. I also want to get back into having educators in my zoo, so I really want to sprinkle some of those educators around the zoo and make their little podium, so that way they're maybe underneath the cave. They can do like a little talk about the polar bears. I think that would be kind of cool, actually. I think next time when I log in to do, to play in the zoo, I'm going to put an education podium in the cave, so that way there it will attract more guests as well. And they'll want to listen to the educator talk about the polar bears and talk about what's happening and what's happening in their habitat and what's happening in the environment that they are in currently. But you guys, I just love these animals, and I really want to adopt more, I think. And I'm just hopeful. The conservation points are really hard to come by unless your animals are just having babies all the time. And I really hate doing that to the animals. I really hate just having them have babies all the time just so that I can, release the animals into the wild. I just really hate that. So as of right now, I'm just going to really try to just stockpile my conservation points. At the current moment, we have 267, as I can see from the video. So hopefully we can up that a little bit more, because I can't remember how much she was, but I remember it was quite a bit of conservation points. And I think that the other polar bears that were near her were quite a bit as well. And that's why we couldn't get that's why we couldn't get another polar bear. Just really sad that in franchise mode, everything costs so much more, points and all of that. And I don't really care if things cost money. I'll pay it because we have almost $2 million in our zoo. So I don't care if the animals cost money. What I care about is the animals costing the points, because it's just really hard to do and really hard to come by. As you can see here, I am doing the barrier. I did make it really huge, but then I was I gotta scale this down because it's way too big and the guests are not going to be able to see the animals. So I was having kind of a bit of a problem with the barrier at first because I don't think it was the right height. And then I lowered it down a little bit, but I also kind of scaled this down as well because I was wow, this is still really big. So I ended up scaling it down, but then I was having a problem with connecting the two. So I put in a little area, and I was going to put that where the staff can come in and out, but then it didn't really work very well. So, because I wanted to put some staff buildings over here, because I did unlock a lot of the Arctic buildings for the staff members, which is really cool. It's really awesome. I love the different buildings. And I also made kind of a little village in front of their habitat. I don't know, I had really fun decorating just around the habitat and even in the front of the habitat, which I didn't really show too much of that, but I will show you in our next part of the zoo. But there is a little village going on, and it just looks really pretty. And there's some polar bears out there just having fun. They're little statues, and I just was really having a lot of fun decorating the me outside of the habitat, and just because I unlocked all of these Arctic buildings, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember when I unlocked these, and these are just so pretty. And I really want to redo the buildings over by the penguins, just to make them, well, they're more like the aquatic animals, so I think I have unlocked some of the aquatic buildings, so I kind of want to put those over there, even though some of them are like elevated up, and it causes a problem with the pathway. But if they're elevated up, then the employees, they can kind of see into the habitat, which I think is kind of a cool aspect as well. What I used to do is I used to put like the buildings for the staff in looking in on the habitat. So like the keeper's hut, they had a window in the back and you could kind of see in and see how the animals are doing while you're, cutting up their food and stuff. So I just thought that was really cute. I may do that with this habitat. I'm not sure, because I really want to add in some more mountains in the back like I did in the front. So add those in, but put them in the back, and try to make maybe like more of a mountain instead of like these square, the square terrain stamp tool. Maybe make more of like the sphere one so that it looks kind of like a mountain. But I really want to kind of break up the barrier in the back, because I wasn't sure where I was going to put the staff entrance. So in order for me to put in more mountains, I just wanted to figure out where I was going to put the staff entrance in first, which I kind of put it in on the side. Which is good as well. And then I just kind of copied and pasted all of the rock formations that I did, just because I did take a lot of time in doing those, and I thought this would be kind of cool just to put in the front of the area where they can kind of walk in and swim. And I did put a little pathway up to the water from the shelter for her, and I just thought that was really cute. I lined it with the snow rocks, and it came out really good. I just thought that was so cute to have like a little pathway where she could and she used it too when she walked to the water at the end. You'll see she just used the little path and walked to the water and dove in, and it was just really cute. That she actually used it, because I was like, I don't know, she'll probably go off to the side and just walk, up to the water, but she ended up using the little path, which I just thought was so cute. And then just adding in those trees, like I said, I was trying to add in the snow as well and just make sure that it was all, snowy. And I added, I upped the intensity of it, and I upped the, the area of it as well, so that I could just really make sure that I was covering everything in snow. And then I was looking to make sure that all of the coolers were in the right place. You have to kind of wait until the coolers cool down and add the snow in, because there are some times where there's like little spaces, so you have to add in some more coolers, which I did that as well once I played a little bit. And then adding in some snow on top of the mountains, but I had to put in some coolers up there so that it would cool down. And then I was copying the reindeer little cave that I built, and I put it in over here for her because it's so cute. It's like a little igloo. I really love it. So I just put it in over here, and I did take out all of the decorations around it. So all of the greenery that was around it, I took that out as well. And like I said, I don't really think that there's trees. I think it's just flat land where they are in their natural habitat. So I'll have to look at her, and if she's really angry about the trees, I'll take them out. But if she's okay so about the trees, I'll probably leave them in. Just to add a little bit of color to her habitat would be a good idea, instead of it all just being snow. It might be good to just have a little bit of greenery in for her. And then just really trying to fix the rocks that are around the area over here, because I didn't want them like peeking out too much, because the guests really don't need to be stepping on rocks. They can just step on the pathway as well. And like as you see in the back, there is like this little village area with all the houses, and then I did add in a transformer back there, as well as I think a water treatment. And I may have to add in the water temperature regulator, because if they go in that little space in between where both water temperature regulators are, they're going to be not in their ideal temperature, and the game's going to freak out. So I may have to add one back there, but I only had space for 2, so hopefully that will be enough. Just having the transformer and the water treatment. Hopefully they won't get too stuck in that little middle area. But anyways, you guys, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end the talking portion right here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Please stay tuned for the very end so you can see the little screenshot and the little video of the polar bear. But like I said, I'm going to end it here, and I will talk to you all very soon.